Hi, I'm Tamara, and I watched Finding Nemo for this Pixar project. Stemming from this, I decided to research what were the effects of enforcement by Customs and Border Protection of immigration laws on younger children. Now, you may be wondering how the two are connected. You have Finding Nemo, and you have the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And you're also probably wondering why I decided to choose a movie about fish to correlate with immigration laws. Well, you know the infamous scene of Nemo, when Nemo is defying his father and he swims out into the open ocean and decides to touch the butt?
You hear me? Beep. I'm coming, Nemo!
Get under me, kids!
Nemo! Nemo, no! Nemo! Nemo, Nemo! No! No!
So you see, Nemo had been forcefully taken away from his father. Almost like how immigration enforces and causes a separation amongst families and their children at the border. So I decided to tackle this from a psychological lens in regards to young children. Children are almost heavily reliant on their parents beginning from the time they're born all the way up until adolescence. We are so attached to our parents, and these children are stripped away from their parents once their parents are prosecuted. And the prosecution comes as a result as a zero toleration policy enforced by President Donald Trump. They are then placed in shelters and given temporary homes. In the absence of their guardian, it causes an emotional toll because this is it for them. Not in the dramatic sense of they're gonna die, but it's it. They're on their own. They're isolated. They're substantially in their own solitude. In one case, a mother had finally reunited with her son at the U.S. border. And the sad thing is, her son didn't even recognize her.
Yo soy tu mami, papi. Yo soy tu mami. Dime. ¿Verdad que tiene mi hijo? Dime, papi. Yo me vine por ti, mi amor. Dime. Pato. Papi, vete, mi amor. Yo me vine por ti.
Is the psychological damage I'm talking about because of the separation. Now, furthering this, how, when they are separated, young children now have to fend for themselves, in which they have to appear in court for their own deportation proceedings. They have to appear in court and basically fight for their own freedom. At such a young age, they're faced with this big issue and faced in front of a federal court system in order to just once again be reunited with their family. I propose a solution for this. And you could look at it through many different ways and pose many different solutions. But I believe that U.S. Customs and Border Protection should focus predominantly on the actual and probable threats, such as their terrorists and weaponry, because children essentially don't pose a threat. They're not a national flight risk. They're not a national threat. So why? Why don't we just keep families together? Why do we have to separate them? Why do we have to strip children away and cause this emotional damage? Why? So there are various perspectives on this entire immigration issue. From that of those attempting to immigrate, for those who inhabit the country currently, and even from our own president. So I incorporated all these perspectives and I handled it by looking at simply just the moral aspect. There are multiple ways and facts and opinions on this issue, but we as a whole all have morals. And when looking at it, the emotional effects of children, I figured all of humanity must have morals and have morals for doing the right thing. If we see the psychological damage that causes and is a result of effect towards children, wouldn't our own internal morality prevent that? Now, additional questions were raised for me. During this whole entire process of figuring out immigration and seeing how this incorporated through psychological lenses, I looked at this. So I also looked at the treatment of these children being cared for under the Customs and Border Protection. And I watch the news with my dad. I watch the news with my dad all the time. And I see these news sources surface. And there's videos of and pictures of kids being locked in cages and them sleeping with aluminum foil as blankets. Aluminum foil as blankets. We can't even use real blankets for these children. So I think it's important because our morality, for us to not even focus on the fact to supply these children with real blankets, how? Why? We use aluminum foil, something that we use for food. And then I also questioned the psychological aspects for not only the children, but then I shifted it to the parents. And for a mother to lose her own child, for a mother to see her child go and be stripped away from her, how does that take